What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is the BackMarkers F1 Show Power Rankings, round 16 following the Russian Grand Prix. And a lot of drama, a lot of action happening behind the scenes at the Russian Grand Prix, but a lot of action also on track, which has led to some movement again in our top 10.
It has. Some fun movement as well, a new name, which is very exciting.
That's right. We are very excited to have another new entry. It always is actually exciting to have somebody new on our list. So let's kick it off on number 10, our new entry for this week.
Coming out of Mexico.
It's
Racing
Mexico.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we wanted to say it that way. Anyways, Sergio Perez ends up coming in at number 10 this week. He has 3 top 7 races in his last 4. That was tough to say. But he's been very good so far. Had a DNF 2 races ago, unfortunately. But again, not his fault. An engine troubles for him there. But P6, P7, and another P7 in there in his last 4. He's been fantastic for Racing Point as they continue their resurgence at the latter half of the season.
He was actually going to be on my list before he had a DNF last week in Singapore. He actually just cracked my top 10 list. But yeah, I'm glad to see him up there now. He's he really good performances the last few races and even qualifying as well. He's really stood out.
That's why he's got that 3-year contract. Steady Sergio.
Steady Sergio, you're right.
So moving on into number 9 then, a driver that has bumped down 1 position since last week, and that is the German, Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah, Hülkenberg, another, I guess, a solid race for him, other than his crew dropping the jack on his pit stop, but consistent for Nico. Again, he's outpoint a driver without a drive next year still somehow.
And the reason why Hülkenberg dropped down 1 spot, because this driver moved up 1 spot, and that's Mr. Multi 165, Sebastian Vettel.
Another German up there. And you know, he probably would have been a few spots higher if it wasn't for the MG UK unit going down in that race. Yes. But yeah, he had fantastic drive. He had a great start to the race, which carried him through, setting better race pace, holding fastest lap until he went into the pit lane, or well, I guess 3 or 4 laps before the pit lane. He was just doing really well for himself, and I'm sure we would have seen him as a podium finish if the race had finished in his favor.
Still having a tough Saturday, so though as only qualifying P3, so he'll have to look to improve his qualifying if he wants to continue his rise up the BackMarkers top 10.
That's true, and I think that had he not had the MG UK issue, most likely would have won that race.
Yes, sure. I agree.
Was setting fastest lap after fastest lap. His race pace was very good, and like we mentioned in our recap of the Russian Grand Prix, which you can also find down below, he's the return of the old Sebastian Vettel, that grittiness and that toughness, so that's why he moves up 1 spot this week. So moving on into number 7, this is a man who does not like sushi, but has really liked that number 7 spot on our rankings. That's Lando Norris.
He stayed there for a while. Could be ill from sushi, so that could...
Oh, he actually only moved up last week.
Oh, he moved up last week?
Really?
He moved up from 8th to 7th last week.
Well,
there you go.
He's been in our top 10 the whole year. Well, since we started. I
mean, he still would have been in the whole year if we did start at the beginning of the season.
That
He's
is
had
true.
A fantastic year.
Hopefully sushi next weekend doesn't drop him down in positions.
Yeah.
Well, pizza helped out Daniel Ricciardo, so maybe he should just try sushi in Japan. Maybe it'll make a difference.
Maybe
get him fired up.
Could go the wrong way too.
Yeah,
but
could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, if you know what I mean. But I think Lando's been really great this season, and he's just sort of a little bit behind in terms of pace on the Sundays with Carlos Sainz, but that's experience. But I think that he's helped McLaren break that 100-point barrier, which is critical for the team. So I think Lando's been super consistent and has been really impressing us thus far this season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving to...
On and off the track.
On and off, yes. More off the track, I think. So that means in number 6, a driver that has dropped a couple spots, and that's Valtteri Bottas. And Valtteri, he drops mostly because of the drivers ahead of him that have done a little bit of a better job. But again, Valtteri's that same driver. Consistent all week, just does enough to stay in the top 10 of the rankings. Obviously, he's an excellent teammate. He did a great job fending off Charles Leclerc in Russia. but he didn't really do much that would make me want to rank him higher than 6, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't, and he didn't push Lewis Hamilton into doing anything.
Well, he's not allowed to.
Well, I was going to say, if his chains were unleashed, I'm sure we'd see a different Valtteri.
You
Bottas.
think?
I think so. Because I feel like the beginning of the season where Valtteri was doing really well was he was allowed to do whatever he wanted, just to go out there and race. And I feel like once Lewis Hamilton kind of made that first position kind of his in the championship, he was kind of told to hold back a little bit.
Yeah, hasn't won a race since Baku.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Long time ago. All right, getting into the top 5, and the top 5, I enjoy listening to this man sing.
Yes, me too.
That's Carlos Sainz in 5th position.
Go squeeze. For which these guys, him and Norris, are just becoming meme lords. They already are. But Sainz, another solid finish in Russia, continuing once again his impressive streak of just being able to get those top. What do you call it? Those top midfield positions, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Best of the rest
Best of the rest
Yeah.
positions, yeah.
And has been the best of the rest, in my opinion. And I feel like Red Bull might be regretting letting him go just a little bit now, because he would look very juicy with him and Max together in that big Red Bull team.
It would be a really good thing to see, but I don't think it would make the best partnership.
No,
Unfortunately not. But I think, it would have been great to see him in a Red Bull car and, seeing him keep up with pace with Max Verstappen and not being just the best of the rest,
But it works out for him. He's a team leader now in McLaren. It's a great team for him.
Yeah.
And with the move to Mercedes engines in 2021, Carlos Sainz could be in the right position at the right time.
He's going to be a good competitor for sure coming up.
So yeah, Carlos Sainz, we're big fans of him over here. So at number 4 then, the guy that did get his Red Bull seat, and that's Alex Albon. And as we mentioned, Alex Albon is one of the biggest movers on our list pretty much ever since he got the Red Bull drive. And he's finished inside the top 6 ever since he's gotten the Red Bull seat. And starting from the pit lane to finish in P5, a brilliant drive on a track that's difficult to overtake.
Yeah, no, that really is what solidified his spot as a mainstay driver in our top 4.
And he's been starting from all over in all these races. He started in P17 his first race. I think, P8 or 9 the next one, a little bit higher. Now starting from the pit lane and coming up to 5th place.
And the way Albon recovered from his qualifying crash, when I was watching qualifying, I thought, ooh, that might bump him down in our rankings. But his race result really bumped him back up to 4th. Yeah. So that was kind of a close battle between Sainz and Albon, who was going to get it. But eventually Albon got our 4th position. And we even had a little bit of a discussion as to whether Albon would enter our top 3. But we kept the same man in 3rd position as we had the last couple weeks. And that's his teammate, Max Verstappen.
Yeah, Max stays first for the Red Bulls, and he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. He hasn't had the performances he's needed as of late, but that is Red Bull in general right now, unfortunately, and they'll have to pick things up as the season goes forward.
Yeah, I think depending on what goes down at Japan, we might see Max drop a few spots based on that race, because like we said, it is based on the last 5, and with Japan coming up, we would be starting up at Spa. And that's where you had the 2 DNFs in a row.
Yeah, just one pole. We went. Of course, these are our last 5 races, but just one pole and 2 podiums for Max Verstappen in his last 5 races. After a few short races ago, he was number 1 in our driver standings with those 2 wins.
Yeah, and he hasn't really done much to move him up past the next 2 drivers that we have in the rankings. But again, he's outscored his teammate, Alex Albon, and it's going back last 5, like you said. So 2 podiums, still the pole from Hungary. So we decided to keep him neutral at position 3. And in position 2 this week, we have our race winner from Russia, Lewis Hamilton. And this was a close call because obviously Hamilton getting his first win since Hungary, which is included in our last 5. And looking at the comparison between him and our number 1 driver, which we can reveal right now as well, is Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
So we had no changes from the last 2 weeks. We got the same top 3. And again, it's similar because there's so little to decide between these drivers. We look at the last 5. Leclerc's got 95 points. Hamilton's got 97. Leclerc's got 2 wins. Hamilton's got 2 wins, but our deciding factor was the pole position.
pole
Yes,
position.
yeah.
So Leclerc actually, with 95 points, 2 wins, and 4 poles, and that was really the deciding factor, right? Was the fact that Lewis, he's got 2 more points than him in the last 5 races. He has 2 wins, but he doesn't have any pole positions in the last 5, so that was pretty much our deal breaker.
It's weird to think Hamilton 0 poles in his last 5.
Yeah.
This is the pole king, the master.
Well, I mean, it was a huge surprise to him to find out what after Italy that Charles has 6 poles this season, leading this season for poles, right? And I think Lewis has 4, maybe 5.
So
it's
somewhere
close.
around there. It's close. Yeah.
So and then Vettel only has the one. So
Ferrari pace has been really mighty in the last since the return of the summer break. So it's very close between the top 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, we always love to have movement in our list.
Yeah.
But in our opinion, we just didn't see any driver in our top 3 doing better or worse, which is why they've stayed the same position.
Yeah.
And it's probably better for the viewers, for you guys watching, that we're not just changing around willy-nilly here and there, but there's a science behind this top 10.
There's a method to the madness.
Very, yeah. And I think for the first time, we actually had a unanimous agreement on
Yeah.
the
The
list.
first.
Yeah, it was one of those where we always debate a few drivers should move here and there, but I think this one was
the
fairly
first one.
even. I think we mentioned it, the Max and the Alex Albon debate was kind of up there, but in the end, we were like, you know what, Max has kind of been the better driver, not taking away his, DNF, so.
Yeah, exactly. So very close in our top 10 rankings. But let us know what you think of our list. As always, voice your opinions in the comments below. We always love to hear from you, and include your own list as well. Let's see how different it is from ours. We get some ones that are spot on. We get some ones that are completely different.
Yeah.
And maybe you think another driver is deserving of that top 10 spot. So let us know in the comments below. You can also see our recap podcast of the Russian Grand Prix in the videos down below. Give us a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to us. We appreciate the support, and we will see you back for our preview podcast of the Japanese Grand Prix. Bye for now.
Thanks.